Good morning, children. Welcome to the geography class. Today we are going to see hydrosphere, unit 4 in geography. In the last class we have seen, the last geography classes we have seen about lithosphere and atmosphere, and in this chapter we are going to see about hydrosphere. So, our planet Earth consists of 4 spheres. They are lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere and biosphere. Hydrosphere. One of the most necessary natural resource on earth is water. So water is the very important necessary thing for every creature, right? So it is very necessary for all the living beings. The earth is also called the blue planet as it holds water in abundance and thus stands unique among all the other planets. So our earth where we live, our earth is said as blue planet because 97% of earth is covered with water only. That is why it is also considered as unique planet, because none of the other planets have water. In our earth only we have all the essential things to live. For survival we have all the essential things. We have air, water, food, all types of crops, everything we can cultivate here. So this is the only planet where humans and other creatures can live without any problems, because the creator has provided all these things. So that is why earth is called unique planet. It contains lots and lots of water and hence it is called blue planet also. Over 97% of the earth on earth's surface is confined to oceans. So 97% of water is of oceans only. Less than 3% of water is held on land as glaciers, ice caps, groundwater, rivers, lakes and also in water vapor. 97% is of oceans. So less the 3% is of groundwater, river, lakes. That is all we find in these places and all. We'll see about the hydrological cycle. The earth water is not static. It is always in motion. So earth water is not static. It will not stay in a particular place. Okay, the earth's water, it will be moving. This continuous movement of water on above and below the earth's surface is called hydrological cycle. So the continuous movement, okay, above and below the earth's surface, that is what called hydrological cycle. The major 3 processes involved in the water cycle are evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Water resource of earth can be broadly divided into fresh water and salt water. Yes, we'll see about fresh water now. Rainwater is considered to be the purest form of water as it contains very less proportion of salt when compared to the oceans and the seas. So rainwater, it is the purest form because it doesn't have any impurities. We used to say, the first rain when it drop from the sky, that will have some dust particles and all, but the rain is the only form which will be containing the purest form of water, because it contains less amount of salt in that when we compare with oceans and seas. Hence it is called fresh water. A major part of fresh water is found in the frozen state in the form of ice caps and glaciers. So major part of fresh water we can find in the ice caps and glaciers. Around 1% of it is found in the liquid state as rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, etc. So remaining 1% we can find in the rivers, streams, ponds and lakes. Okay. So surface water may also penetrate to porous rocks and get collected beneath this earth's surface. This is called groundwater. So the surface water, when the rain pours, when it comes down, the surface water, it will penetrate through rocks also and under the earth's surface also, and this is called groundwater. That is what we use for our daily purpose, right? Drinking water and all, groundwater, right? Now we'll see about oceans. An ocean is a body of water that composes much of planet's hydrosphere. So it is the body of water. It contains more water. Okay, more hydrosphere. Okay, hydrosphere is nothing but water, right? Amount of water on the planet. So the ocean will be containing more amount of water. We'll see about the movement of ocean water. The ocean water is dynamic. Temperature, salinity, density, external forces of the sun, moon and the winds keep the ocean waters in movement. So these are the things which are making the ocean waters in movement. Temperature. So the temperature, salinity means the saltiness present in the water, density. So these are the factors that is important for the movement of the ocean, right? Now we'll see about waves. Of all the movements of the ocean, sea waves are considered to be strongest. Have you noticed waves, children? Yes, when we go to the beach, we used to see waves. We used to play in the waves, right? We all love it, right? So it is the strongest form, okay, of all the movements of the ocean. Sea waves, okay, are considered to be very strong. The height of these waves depend on the speed of wind, its duration and the direction from which they blow. So the height of when we see sometimes the height of the waves will be very long, okay. Sometimes during tsunami and all we have seen it will be blow, the height of that will reach the coconut tree also. So that much height, right? So it depends on the speed of the wind, okay. According to the speed of the wind only it blows, the duration and the direction of the wind from which they blow. So sometimes waves are also caused by the shake felt on the ocean floor, some shakiness, okay. Some due to that also some waves, strong waves are caused. So that one of the fine example for that is tsunami. Next we'll see about tides. The periodic rise and fall of sea water due to the gravitational pull of the sun and moon on earth are called tides. So it is of the periodic rise. Waves we used to see often, but this tides, it is a periodic rise and fall of sea water. It happens due to the gravitational pull of sun and earth. So they are classified into two types, spring tides and neap tides. Spring tide, we'll see about that. When the sun, moon and earth are aligned in the same line, when it comes in the same line, the collective gravitation pull of the sun and moon on earth's water strengthens to form a high tide. So the gravitational pull of the earth and moon will be strengthening the earth's water, and it is called spring tide. Such tides occur on a full moon or new moon days, okay, full moon or new moon days. Then about neap tide, when the sun and moon are at right angles, their gravitational forces work against each other. So when they are at the right angles, it will be acting opposite. The gravitational force will be working against opposite, and they will cause a low tide. So that is called neap tide. So this will happen in the first and last quarter of the new moon appears. Next is about ocean currents. The movement of oceanic water on the surface and at the depth is a definite direction is called ocean current. Ocean currents are in clockwise motion in the northern hemisphere and in the anti-clockwise motion in the southern hemisphere. So some factors that generate ocean currents are Earth's rotation. So it depends upon the Earth's rotation, prevailing wind, the duration of the wind blows, and difference in temperature and the salinity, which means the saltiness in the ocean water. So on the basis of temperature, the ocean currents is also classified into warm currents and cold currents. Next we'll see about the marine resources. The biotic and abiotic resources found in the oceanic water and at the bottoms are called marine resources. So biotic means living and abiotic means non-living. So the biotic, the both non-living and living resource found in the oceanic water, and at the bottom of that is called marine resources. Okay, marine. the ocean's resource play a vital role in sustaining the needs of society. So it will complete the it will provide all the necessary things for the need of society. Okay, so ocean is also giving many things for us, for humans. A diverse array of marine organisms is used for food, medicine, cosmetics, and a wealth of industrial applications. So we are using that for food purpose, medicine. Many medicines we are getting from the marine resource only, cosmetics, beauty products, and for industrial purpose also. The world's demands for energy, minerals, and water have become increasingly dependent on non-living marine resources. So the world is highly dependent on these non-living marine resources. So conservation of marine resources. So our duty is to preserve the marine resource. Oceans are the lifeblood of planet Earth and mankind. So it is very important for the mankind. Okay, for also the Earth. The humankind depends on marine resources for its survival. They are also essential for the economic prosperity, social well-being, and quality of life. So for our sake, for the survival of human also, it is very essential for our economic prosperity, social well-being, and the quality of life, to improve our lifestyle quality. Besides a major fishing ground, it's helping generating the development of many ports and harbors. So as we all know, fishing is very important. We all used to eat fish, right? So fishing, without sea can we get fish? No. So fishing, and for trade purpose also it is very important. For tourism, coastal tourism also attract lot of people, and that is also one kind of trade. That is also contributing to the economy of many countries. So this is what we have seen in this lesson, children. Hydrosphere, it is a third sphere of the earth. It is a collection of all forms of water on the earth. So hydrological cycle is the continuous movement of the water on earth. Water is available on earth as fresh and salt water. Two types of water we have seen. Over 97% of water on earth's surface is confined to oceans only. We have 5 major oceans: the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and Arctic Ocean. Right, marine resources are considered to be very important. So oceans are our lifelines of earth and mankind, so we need to conserve it. Our duty is to preserve it. I hope this would have been understood by you children. Thank you.